Okay, so I haven't made a video in a good while, so I thought I should probably get around to doing it at some stage. I like making them, kind of. Um, yeah, I've just had a few things floating around in my head anyway, so I thought, why not make a vlog? Nobody has asked me questions in a while. Well, there probably are questions floating around, but I haven't written them down anywhere. So I'm just going to ramble. Not that anyone's going to care whether I ramble or not, apparently. The people who watch my vlog care more about my accent than whatever comes out of my mouth, like whatever the words are, I should say. So I'll just ramble in general about Azira, and we'll see how that goes. I was watching other people's vlogs. Well, I should say, when I say other people, I mean two people's vlogs. Guys, as in Nikolai Marin, and Fallon's, because I was like, I haven't stalked Fallon's scrapbook in ages. Let's have a look at that. And then it was, I spotted the video from like the 12th of August and clicked on it, and it's like, I have questions from Azira, and I'm going, that's my name. It isn't actually. It's my character's name, whatever. But I'll get to actually a name thing in a second. But yeah, I'd forgotten that I had asked her questions at all. So that was good. A month and a half later, more than a month and a half actually, a little bit more. But yes, rambling. Generally rambling in the Azira direction. Yes. Speaking of Azira's name, thanks to the frequency of certain advertisements, it's kind of been brought to my attention that her name might have come from a certain place that I didn't consciously realise before. But yes, her name comes from coffee. Namely Nescafe Azira. Different spelling. That's because I didn't know. So it's like, Azira, that's a good name. I'll write that down. How do I spell that? I spell it with an I. They spell it with an E. That's the only difference. Yes. That's what I did. She's named after coffee. I don't even like coffee. But that shows you the power of advertising. I clearly remembered Azira. Not that I remembered it was coffee or anything else like that. Just the name. So that's kind of what they want. But they also kind of want you to remember what the product actually is, so you'll go and buy it. But that bit failed. Character name. Good plan. Yes, okay. What was I going to talk about? I know, I had some vague plan thing. I can't remember the life of me. Oh, crap. Oh, yes, that was it. There was a vague plan thing. I knew it was in there somewhere. I was going to talk about the similarities I have discovered between myself and Azira. Now, there are more than I consciously put in. See all this thing about the conscious and the subconscious, what's going in there? There are a lot of things that are unconsciously going in there. Things that I knew when I created the character were going in there was her temper. Okay, her temper is actually worse than my temper, or I'd like to think so. I have a terrible temper if it's basically raised, which doesn't happen too often because I do have some self-control. Although in secondary school, there were a number of people who were frightened of me. Namely boys, very frightened of me. Actually, there was an instant where, I feel like I'm short. I feel like I should be taller. This is the thing. So this is why when I went around creating Azira's character, I went, why not have her really short for an Anarcha? I mean, she's 4'8". That's quite small for an Anarcha. But yeah, so basically, I feel short, so it kind of transferred onto her. But anyway, so I'm 5'4". And you're talking about a guy like who's 6'1", 6'2", hiding behind another person, using them as a human shield for fear I'm going to do something to them. I wasn't going to do anything to him, but this is one of those instances I remember from secondary school. A guy who's like nearly a foot taller than me, hiding behind someone else. Actually reversed out of the room where I was, holding this person as a human shield. I'm not that bad, honestly. I'm not. I'm just very intimidating, apparently. But yeah, so the temper is in there. Her temper appears more often than my temper. Actually, her temper appears that often. I don't even think she has a. I think that's just her normal way of being. She just explodes constantly, so it just happens. Or I suppose when you consider how many times you can be internally angry. I'm very good at being internally angry. That happens a lot. So that's where her anger comes from, except it's external, which is probably healthier somewhat. Because she's not going to be torn apart by bottling all these emotions. But it's also not healthy because nobody in their right mind wants to stay anywhere near her. So there's that one. That was consciously put in. The desire for knowledge, that was consciously put in. I am interested in everything. Well, not everything, but a vast majority of things. It's like when I was explaining this to somebody, they wanted to know why I took English in college, and it's a long explanation about that one. But it's not that I had any particular desire to do English. I had a desire to do lots of different things. Anywhere from, various forms of sciences, mostly biology, from genetics to immunology and all those sorts of things. The really long list of things that interest me. So, yes, I like lots of things. I like learning. While I do like college more in some ways now, I probably preferred secondary school in a lot of ways because I did more subjects, whereas now I'm only doing one subject. But anyway, kind of digressing because it's kind of me. But yes, so the desire for learning, the reading thing comes from me. Yeah, a lot of her character comes from me. Yes, I read a lot. I'm doing English in college. How much do you think I read? It's like 5 or 6 books a week. Not joking. 5 or 6 a week. But yeah, so basically she gets her reading thing from me as well. Okay, things that unconsciously went in there. Kind of even her backstory as well. Okay, some of it was conscious, some of it was unconscious. It's kind of a thing that pops up. Her parents. Her father isn't a figure that she knows. The same would be true for Kayla. And Waisana's father is pretty much absent most of the time. He hasn't even appeared in a thread. He will, well, actually he has in one flashback, but he's not someone who is anyway... He's very noticeably absent, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that probably comes from my father being not there, even when he was there. And of course, well, not so much for Waisana, but for Azira and for Kayla, they've both lost their mothers, which I have as well. But so I suppose I understand that perfectly. That not having a mother, though it's actually somewhere between the two of their ages, but when they Azira being 7 and Kayla being 19, I can't remember. But yeah, so that's where that one comes from. I'm kind of, I said mostly Azira, but I'm kind of digressing a little bit into my other characters. But I suppose it does explain where a lot of things do come from, because you're going to put some of yourself into a character when you create them. I mean, you're not going to have a character who's totally alien to you. There will be some aspects of familiarity, but yes. So Azira, in her past, during her Yassihood, I feel like I've butchered that word. Yes, during her youth. Yeah, she was bullied, basically. she was seen as that outsider, as that person who was the target. I have gone through bullying, yes. I also have Asperger's syndrome, so I've felt odd. So I suppose that's also come in. But obviously, different reasoning for Azira, but that's obviously where that comes from. What other things unconsciously went in? Because I've only been, as I've been writing her, I've kind of realised things. But, you know, certain things become really, really prominent. That, oh, this is a definite me trait. So, I can't keep track of them all now. There's just too much. I'm just making lots of sounds. That's where you watch this video, to hear me go I do that so often, it's ridiculous. There it is again. So, I'm not going to say again. Awkward silence. I'm thinking. Thinking is very quiet. Don't even listen to some of the words that come out of my mouth. I can't English sometimes, and sometimes the English I say is strange English. God almighty. Yeah, this is going well. This is really going well. This is definite rambling here. Self-conscious rambling. So yes, that's what I can think of at the moment concerning Azira. I should probably find another direction for my brain to go, my mouth to go, I should say. My mouth can go anywhere it likes, but my brain actually has to follow it wherever it goes. So, well, I hope so. So direction, plans, fall. Yeah, we'll go with that. I have that many plans for fall. Well, I say, there are a fair few for fall, but Nano is something I'm greatly looking forward to. I want to do very great things with all my characters. Azira, of course, is going to get special treatment because Azira is Azira, and it's actually amazingly easy to write as Azira. I do want Waisana to get more stuff done. I really, really, really want to work towards having a premise so that she has the chance of perhaps getting a healing gnosis. That would be nice. But that won't be an immediate thing. This is all the groundwork and whatnot. So, medicine is going to go up. Medicine's going to be a thing. Medicine is already all-consuming, but yes, more medicine. She's going to have much medicine, much herbalism, much everything. But yes, so I do hope to eventually bring her in the Riverfall direction come spring. But yes, see how I've already gone off Azira. She's been forgotten temporarily. Yes, but my nano plans, I have many nano plans. I don't even know how many bits of paper I have floating around the place. I like paper. I really like paper. I like filling paper full of nonsense and then keeping it and thinking, this is great. I have all these pages of ideas, and then I look back at them at a later date and go, oh my god, did I write this? But no, thankfully most of it's bullet points. Just lots and lots and lots of bullet points. Azira, I have many plans in terms of hunting. New techniques, new skills that will add to her hunting, tracking, trapping, all those sorts of things. There's a creature in Kalia, I don't know, yeah, we'll assume it's right. The region that Windreach is in, we'll go with that. There's a creature in the bestiary described as a kuiper, which is an ermine, but it really serves the function of a ferret. So I asked my grandfather how one would use ferrets for hunting, so I've done that research, because in his youthful days he did hunt things like rabbits, and they did use ferrets. So I have gotten some information from him, which is probably more accurate than a lot of the research you're going to do, because he has the experience. So that's good. I'm looking forward to that. I want her to learn how to butcher things. It's going to be great fun. That's going to be lovely gruesome research. I don't mind gruesome research. I do a lot of gruesome research. things I research, I don't even know. I'm not usually a person who would think of killing another creature, and yet I have a character who's a hunter, and who does things like skin animals and shoot them and bash their heads in and all those sorts of things. I couldn't kill something. I don't kill flies. I feel sorry for the fly. Because it hasn't done anything to me. Just because it's buzzing doesn't mean I have the right to kill it. So that's that person. But at the same time, I couldn't actually do what she does. Like, I couldn't actually skin something or whatever because I couldn't cut. I have a bizarre thing about cutting into flesh. Goes back to a biology practical thing where we were doing heart dissections or whatever. I discovered I actually do not enjoy cutting into flesh. For a while I was horribly disgusted by chicken. I couldn't cook chicken. I couldn't cut chicken. So, yeah, me talking about chicken. But yeah, at the same time, I'm not squeamish. I can look at things and go, oh yeah, this is great. Like I brought my granddad's dog for a walk last week, and there's kind of a field at the back of the house, and we were walking along as you do, and there was a stomach and intestine sitting in the middle of the path. And I went, oh, those are stomach and intestines. And I walked around and kept going. It's a very strange thing to come across, but presumably it was something had eaten it, and it had presumably been a rabbit. I don't know. But yeah, I was more kind of surprised to see it there than disgusted by it. So I'm not squeamish. I've seen I've watched various videos of different things, skinnings, gushings, well, butchering really, all those sorts of things. Even when I began the character and I was looking into different hunting techniques, I came across the squirrel pole, which is obviously this pole that you basically put between two trees, and you have little... I'm sorry, this is kind of like my almost disclaimer moment. If you don't want to listen to this, stop listening now. But yeah, you basically put these little wire nooses on it, and squirrels, because they're naturally curious, come along and they stick their heads in it, and then they get caught and they fall off the branch and they hang themselves. And I was going, I have to see what this looks like. So we went and I looked up pictures of squirrel poles. Looked at all these squirrels hanging themselves, basically. All in the name of my writing. I actually intend to get books on various books. I have to go into Hodges Figgis, the local bookshop. Well, it's the one near the college. It's local. And basically find as many books as I possibly can on hunting, which I look forward to greatly. So I can go out and kill things in my writing. It's also interesting. She can't really take down big game because she won't work with other hunters. So, obviously, okay, you might manage to bring down something big, but you're not going to be able to carry it back. I mean, windreach, heavy, whatever this thing is going to be, and you've got to carry it, and there's going to be things that are going to want to eat whatever it is. So, she does tend to stick to small game, but that doesn't mean I can't be creative. I do actually have a thread going at the minute. It's still continuing on from summer, where she goes after a moose, but she's basically dragged along this game scout who doesn't really want to be there. She just said, "You're coming with me. Let's go," and hasn't really thought about how big a moose is until she finds said moose and goes, "Oh my God, it's huge. How am I going to kill this thing?" Because it's a moose. It's not exactly... I mean, she's got a bow and she's got arrows. It's not a weak little fragile creature. It's big and strong and difficult to take down, so... She's nuts. I'm nuts because I was the one who went, yeah, this would be great. She'll never work out what to do with this. I swear I make some things as I go along. They just appear and I go, this is a plan. So yeah, really I am making up as I go along. She has successfully killed the moose, which involved rope and arrows and a knife. Just if you want to know, just read the thread. It's probably ridiculous. I'd like to think that she has that level of skill doing things. I'd like to think it's actually plausible what I did. But yes, so killed the moose. Now it's the idea of I can't carry back the moose. I mean, you've got a 4'8", whatever weight she is. She's not that heavy. She's not that strong. And then you've got the game scout who's with her, who's like 4'10", and there's not that strong either. And they're supposed to carry back like this massive creature. It's like, it's not going to happen. So she's basically trying to work out how she's going to butcher this thing. She has very, very little butchery skill. And so this is going to go terribly. But I'm going to have great fun with it anyway. And then see how much of it she can bring back. So I can't even remember how I started on this little not anecdote thing. I'm sorry, I can't English. I don't know how many times I say that at any given time, and then people say, well, it's a good thing you're doing English then, isn't it? And it's like, yeah. So yes, aside from the fact I can't English, which isn't even a thing, and it's so grammatically wrong, but still, I talk nonsense. You know I talk nonsense at this stage. Well, you do if you... I was going to say if you watch my other videos, but I think you realise it if you watch this one. If you watch this video to this point, you realise I do not make sense the vast majority of the time. So yes, trying to go back on the train of thought there. Oh my god, have I talked for that long? Maybe my iPod hasn't died. Yes, things. Hunting. Those are my plans for Nano in terms of Azira. Well, there's more than that. I want her unarmed combat to be brought up, so that part of that is flashbacks. Falconry is kind of my skill I want to work on. Falconry and butchery. Those are my skills, so I'm going to have to work on her falconry. She has absolutely no falconry, but I have plans for this. There's a good premise. It's not really that I went and decided, yes, she will take up falconry so she can go hunting. No, it was, she will listen to this person who was her friend. Yes, she has friends sometimes, once, who got a bird and decide, well, I'm going to go and volunteer and look after birds and decide that I like birds and they seem to like me as long as, well, it's part of her idea in her youth that she can't actually go near birds. So she's kind of got it into her head. It's one of those things that, you know, when people say that you can't do something and you get it into your head and you're not confident, and animals are clever. Animals pick up on people who are nervous of them, frightened of them, whatever. So she goes near a bird. The bird knows she doesn't want to be near it because she thinks that she can't be. Because she thinks that she's all wrong and she can't handle birds. So she's got it into her head she's not a bird person, but she is. That makes no sense. Okay, it might have made some sense. Take what you will from it. So yes, falconry. So part of that is going to be flashbacks. Part of that is going to be the placeholders I have from spring. Part of it is going to be the placeholders I have from summer. And then we're going to get into this season. Yes, I have that many placeholders. Spring, I have job threads from winter that aren't finished. I don't even know how many threads I have from winter that aren't finished. There's probably threads from last fall that aren't finished. Actually, yes, I think there are a number of them. Flashbacks usually, but so it's not really like current time, but it's still that old. Yes, so that's Azira. I could probably go on for another little rambly. If you let me ramble about Nano, this will go on for I don't know how many videos. So I will be looking for people during Nano. I will be trying my utmost to advertise Windreach during Nano. Because I'm going to go, you know, it's literally going to be, I am going to be that person who's going to cheerlead for Windreach. Because the player base is small, yes. But I know there's no storyteller. Well, there's Mirage, but, you know, like local DS, AS, one or the other. There's neither of them. But that doesn't mean that we can't have good writing. We have good writers. We have superb writers. Blowing on trumpet here. But yes, I want people to come to Windreach. Anyone who's come across me in chat when I'm in one of my Windreachy modes will know I'm basically just going to jump on the eagle, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to talk. But jump on the eagle and basically cheerlead there and say everyone should come to Windreach. Everyone should have a PC in Windreach. Everyone, Windreach. That's just, I do that. I get really enthusiastic about the inertia and Windreach, and nobody would ever guess how enthusiastic I am. Oh my god, I'm rambling again. I should probably stop talking now, because otherwise I'll forget to stop talking. I know it's a stupid thing to say. I'll forget that I am talking, and then the video will go on far longer than YouTube will like it to, and then it'll say, your video is too long, and I'm going to say, I'm uploading it anyway. Well, my iPod says it's too long, and says, you must cut this video into a smaller size, and I go, no. And it uploads anyway, the full length, so what do I care, really? I mean, you're going to upload it whatever length I put, so feck off, YouTube. And yeah, so I should really stop talking now, because it's getting dark anyway, and my granddad, if he listens at all through the door, which he shouldn't be, he should be in the living room as far as I'm concerned, but he'd think I was absolutely nuts, because I knew he was in the hall when I was talking about chicken, but he doesn't realise what I'm talking about. Anyway, end of rambling. I will not ramble. Well, I do ramble, but I'm going to stop talking, honest to God. Stopping now. No more video. Okay, ta-ra, TTFN, all those various goodbye things. Okay, right, until the next video, which I'm hoping will be soon. It will be soon. Okay, stopping, genuinely, honest, finished. Okay, goodbye.